right, everybody. Got the times mixed up. That's my bad. The AMA is now live. I thought it was supposed to go live at 2, but it didn't. It was supposed to go live at 1. So it is now 1:17. That was the best late to a party. Fashionably late is the word I was looking for. That was the best fashionably late appearance that I could do. So thanks for bearing with us. My co-host, Brett, he's not going to make it today. So you are just riding solo with me. I will say this. If you are watching, please just put any questions that you have in the chat. I think YouTube and what else? YouTube and I think YouTube might be the only one that the comments will go directly here. So I'll also look at comments on LinkedIn as well. But the main focus right now is that Prime Day has officially launched. So, I'm sorry, not Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'm doing multiple things at once. Black Friday, Cyber Monday has officially started as of today. And I actually went in and looked at some of the items in my cart, and I really did not see a ton of things that were on sale. I saw some things, not a ton, but I didn't see a ton of things on sale. So I'm curious to see, because Amazon is required that all of your items, if you're going to run a best deal or something like that, or even a Prime exclusive discount, those are supposed to be live through today until Cyber Monday. So I think December 2nd. It's a really long time. And I think that's a big change for people, for Amazon to officially do that. But if you notice, Walmart, Target, all these other companies, I went and got a ladder this past weekend. Home Depot already had their Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals up. Amazon's saying Black Friday week. So I'm actually getting a notification that Restream is 50% off for Black Friday. So it feels like this deal season is trying to be expanded. I don't know if that's a function of Amazon wanting to, and really just people in general wanting to increase revenue. If it's a function of maybe they're concerned about people wanting to spend less. I don't think people have many fears. Now that the election's over and people tend to be a little bit more squeamish before that, I think people are okay from a spending perspective, but these events, of course, are planned out well in advance. So I feel like people might be starting to get deal fatigue. If you are constantly getting told that there are deals that are happening, Brett and I talked about this before, you're just going to put stuff in your cart and you're going to wait, right? So it means sales overall are going to go down. Of course, you're going to have people that are buying regularly, but you're going to want to probably, or maybe you will just be less advantageous with the purchases on a regular basis. Or if it's like a big purchase, like, hey, I want to buy this massage gun. That's something that's in my cart right now. Do I want to buy this or not? Well, it's a $200 item. I might be able to get 20, 30% off if I leave it and set it in my cart, which is the case right now. That is one of the things that was a deal. So I have now an opportunity to purchase this item, but I wouldn't regularly maybe buy that since it's a little bit larger of a purchase. But maybe also while I'm shopping, and Brett and I have talked about this too, I'm just going to keep my products more to everyday essentials. That's really what I want to focus on, are everyday essentials. So I feel like deal fatigue could potentially be setting in. I would love to say that this is not the new norm, but I feel like it probably is. And really the past couple years, this has been the case anyway, but for Amazon to really, I think Amazon's probably feeling the pressure to compete. And so they have to say, we're going to run Black Friday week. They can't, sit by and let other people capture market share, because if someone is going and buying a deal and they're finding this item, it's likely on multiple spots. Maybe it's on Walmart.com. Maybe it's on Amazon. Maybe it's on Target. And I'm imagining people are still going into stores for these Black Friday, Cyber deals, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. Although I would not want to have to step foot in a mall. I can say that for sure. Not that that's the only place you have to go, but if people are, buying their products in the first week, not even waiting until, post Thanksgiving, Amazon now misses out on a lot of deals. So I think it's important that Amazon is actually really staying. That Amazon's really staying ahead of the curve, because everything is just deal, deal, deal. There's no chance of non-deals. So something that I've seen work really well is deeper discounts during this time. That red badge is just super, super helpful. Seeing a Black Friday deal, the badge is just going to change over. So keep that in mind. If you're running a Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal, it'll change to Cyber Monday. I think probably Sunday, Cyber Sunday, but things will change over on that day. And once the sales are done, they're done. But the deals are going to be pretty consistent too. And I just don't know how much consumers are actually paying attention to that. Are consumers seeing something in their cart, seeing it go and say, I'm buying? Are they waiting? Do they think that this is a pre-deal? I feel like the standard is now the deal's the deal, but I don't know how many consumers actually know that. And the reason I say that is because I've seen Cyber Monday, so Sunday and Monday, be way more successful for some clients than a Black Friday. Maybe Black Friday still feels like a traditional retail environment where they are going into retail and they want to see those deals. And maybe Cyber Monday, they really are waiting. Like, okay, I got my deals. I did my, get up really early kind of thing. Thank God so many people are closed on Thanksgiving now. I just feel bad for those retail workers that have to go in on or we're having to go in on Thanksgiving. I've had to do that before. It's not fun. And to have to go in on Thanksgiving, at least, wait until the early morning of the day after. But seeing that the deals are now stretched out, I feel like, people are probably still not ahead of the curve, or they're not caught up to that. Not really great with the words today, people. I'm trying the best to give you all the best words, and the words are just kind of sucking right now. Here's what I'll say. Deals are live. I think people are probably still going to wait. I think you're going to see a lot higher CPCs now and clicks and maybe click through, but not quite conversions yet. I think people are still going to put stuff in their cart and wait to get notified to see if deals happen. So keep that in mind when you are shopping. Your deals really are going to be consistent. And from a shopper perspective, brands already know this because they had to submit their deals a long time ago, but the deals are going to be consistent. So I think you can buy now without fear of losing out on what the better deal looks like. Brands that are leaning in during this time, we pivot a little bit here in the conversation that I'm having with myself. Brands that lean in during this time are going to see an improvement. I think people know that in sales velocity, which can improve their position. But I think people, and by people, I mean brand sellers, are going to have to pivot how they're measuring things. Here's what I mean. If you are simply looking at organic rank as a proxy for your organic visibility, you're missing something. You're missing what your actual share is. Now, search query performance has been out for a while. Brand analytics have been out for a little while, a couple of years. I would consider that a little while. It's not this year. So looking at those reports can actually give you really insightful information. You now know, what is my true share of voice? What is my true share of purchases? Share of add to carts, all that stuff. We talked last time about looking at add to cart as a way to determine, are your shoppers more deal happy? Do they want a deal? And if you see a high add to cart rate, the week before the days leading up to a sale like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then you look at the weeks prior and say, man, the add to cart rate was a lot lower, your consumers could be more deal sensitive. That's a better word, deal sensitive. But they could be more deal sensitive. And so that gives you an opportunity to plan for the next time. Am I giving a good enough discount to help my shoppers who are deal sensitive really feel like they're getting something? Am I potentially pricing my product too low so I can't give enough of a deal in the off season, we'll say, in not a deal space? That's another thing to consider as well too. But when I talk about share of voice would really be, of all the impressions that are out there when someone searches a term like massage gun, how often do you actually show up? And you can look at it at a brand level, you can look at it at a product level. I think at a brand level, it's interesting to know just how much of your brand is owning that. But at a product level, you can now know, hey, this product is actually doing really well from an impression standpoint, and we want to improve this other one. So what's our next strategic move? And strategy to me is just what actions are we going to take? I think strategy sometimes feels like we're going to create a strategy for you. But a strategy is, here's our goal, and here's the way that we're going to go and achieve our goal. And a strategy that you could use is, our product is not as visible as this other one. We have our lead ASIN, our lead SKU. We want this other SKU to be more visible. So we are going to spend more money on this other SKU to actually get it more visible. And that would be something to help you. And then you can track and say, okay, are we actually converting on this? You can use top search terms and brand analytics to give you your idea of click and conversion share. And you could, go and estimate what your sales are during that week. And then say, what's the average order value on this specific term, which you can find in search query performance. And then say, or at least, and then calculate what your average order value is and see how much they line up, and then determine what's the upside here. What is something that I'm missing that I'm not seeing? So I think one of the detractions from this would be that search query performance report sales drop off in 24 hours. So if a sale doesn't happen in 24 hours, it's not attributed to that term. And I think that could skew the data a little bit, but keep in mind, everyone else is in the same boat. So if you are worried about your stuff not being properly attributed, everybody else is in the same boat. Everyone else is in the same boat. So don't worry, be happy. Keep that in mind. But if you're just looking at organic rank, there's a lot of chatter about AI, about Rufus, and I think I called it something different before, just like a total idiot. And I'm not an idiot, but like one. And I am just positively reinforcing myself right now. But I think there's a lot of talk about AI. And I think one of the most powerful things for Amazon right now is just data utilization. Let's talk data. Amazon gives us so much data, so much information. They have been accused of in the past of not providing enough data. And to be clear, they don't really provide great profitability data. And if you do start to put in the unit economics, fill that unit economics section out with your costs, you're giving your distributor, Amazon, insight into how much you pay for your product. Imagine if they did want to go source that product. You've now given them insight into how advantageous is it for them. They've already got the supply chain likely, or they could find it really quickly. They've got big buying power so that they can potentially take down the little guy or girl because they know what the cost is and they can undercut by 2 and create an Amazon Basics. I haven't seen as much Amazon Basics out there. I haven't really been tracking their products, but they've done a lot less, I think, under scrutiny from the government. They have backed off. The FTC, they backed off on really prioritizing their products. Plus, I honestly think the advertising space that they are utilizing now, that was in some cases being reserved for their private label products, I think arguably it's giving them more margin and giving them potentially even greater profitability because they got a lot of the tech, built out over the past several years. So I think it's a better play for them anyway. But Amazon has been accused of not providing enough data. Is that the case anymore? Is that the case anymore? No. Okay. There's no one over there. I work from home, people. There's no one else here except the snow outside in the ground, which is why I'm wearing a sweatshirt because it's so freaking cold right now. But Amazon has so much data now, even if it's not profitability data, but they offer so much data. It feels like an overload. The thing I hear from brands most often, so brands, tell me, is this you? Amazon is a beast. Amazon's a beast, super complex, really hard to work with. Where do you go? What levers do you pull? Seller Central, Vendor Central, there are so many more options in there now. I think Vendor Central's probably feels a little less because Seller Central was so sparse to begin with. Vendor Central has gotten an upgrade, though. It looks more like Seller Central now, which is, I think, very cool. Was very archaic, and that's fine, though, because the front end of Amazon works really well from a consumer's perspective, and they are not the most seller-centric company in the world. They want to be the most customer-centric company in the world. So Amazon now has a plethora of data. Where do you go? What's your first step? There is also a lot of third-party data, third-party softwares, platforms, etc. Started with the Jungle Scouts and the viral launches and the Helium 10s of the world. Now you've got Zon Guru, and you got all these other softwares out there as well. I can't even name them all. There's some that are now integrating AI. So buzzword, but can it help you to better assess a category and do it quicker? Potentially, yeah. And so that's the fear of AI taking over people's jobs, I think, is mostly unwarranted, regardless of what Elon Musk says. But Amazon has so much data now, and there's all this third-party data. So how do you combine these things? How do you look at these things? And what is really the central source of truth? And I think Amazon's always going to give you your sales data. They will give you the search query volume and search query performance. I think a lot of these tools are actually utilizing that anyway as their search volume, because instead of estimating or scraping, why wouldn't you just, unless you really feel like Amazon's not going to give you accurate data, but I don't see how they are incentivized to not give you that data. And then use a third-party tool to supplement. How can I get more accurate data or get a better representation of what's going on? Now, if you can back into your market share data by looking at SQP, I think that's super helpful. And then if you know via top search terms, hey, this other brand is taking this percentage of this term, you may be able to know what sales you're getting on that term. But in aggregate, it's a lot harder. So looking at a total market, I think using a tool like a Smart Scout is another tool. Using a tool like Smart Scout, shout out to Smart Scout. Great tool. We use it here at Cartology. I use it both to just look up brands and better understand what's going on. If I'm doing an audit, anyone that wants a free audit, come to me, email me. We'll talk, Michael@thinkcartology.com, and we will talk about your brand, find out what's going on. And I'm just going to put my email here in the chat, but email me. We can talk about what's going on with your brand. If it makes sense, hey, let's do an audit. If it doesn't make sense, great, no worries. But if you need an audit, we can do it. Like I said, I feel like we can help you. We can't necessarily help every single person, and we're super selective and intentional about who we take on because we want to do referral quality work. but we can do an audit. Anyway, when we are utilizing this tool like Smart Scout, we can go in and say, hey, here is our competitors. Here are our total sales for this competitor. Here are our monthly sales for them, or trailing 12 months. And then we can look at what our sales are. And I would also argue maybe look at your brand, and I would suggest that you compare that to your actual sales data and see how far off these softwares are. I've seen them sometimes be close. I've seen them sometimes be wildly off. And I think they're doing the best that they can. So no shade on those people. It just comes down to what they're able to get. And so and it's calculating. So depending upon what they're actually calculating, what they have, sometimes it can be more off than others. But look at your data, your actual sales data, look at what they're estimating for you, and then start to look at these other competitors and understand what their sales volume is and how much of the market they potentially own. And then you can start to look at it on or compare that with top search terms. Search query performance is going to look at it on a term level. And I say that because just looking at a search term is not a market. And it's a proxy for volume and intent and seasonality. Higher seasonality, a lot more searches for something that's like patio, lawn, and garden in the summertime. There's going to be a lot higher searches, a lot higher intent. And so the conversion rates are likely going to be better just overall. Because of that, you have an opportunity to improve your ROAS. Oh man, it's a great time to yawn. But you can improve your ROAS. That was terrible. You can improve your ROAS, but you also could really be more aggressive bidding, get your product to be seen by more people, and keep other people out of the space as well too. Your CPCs are going to go up. But I say you can improve ROAS because if you want to be really focused on profitability, you could keep your bids lower, even if you lose some impressions, and that would allow you to likely have higher conversion rate. So you would still be able to have a good, good sales. And look at what your sales data looks like. Compare that to Smart Scout, look at the market share, and then go at a granular level and look at what do top search terms look like? How much am I getting from a conversion standpoint in that? Look at search query performance, and then determine how successful you are and what opportunities you have. Because really, if you own 50% of the market on something, it might be a lot easier for you to be able to take over an additional 10 versus if you own 1% of that market, it's going to be really hard for you to get. It's going to be really hard for you to get additional market share just simply because maybe there's a lot of competitors, or maybe just because someone else owns a lot of the market. Here's what I'd recommend doing. Look at who, if you're 1% of something on a certain term, go and look at what other people potentially own by using a third-party tool like Smart Scout or ZonGuru or Helium 10, whatever tool you're using. Use a tool that allows you to make a proxy for what their market share is going to be, and then determine if you feel like you have a competitive advantage. Is my product going to be enough to get someone to come over to my product versus this other product? Maybe that tells you, maybe this is a category we should not play in. Maybe this is a category we should play in. But you then at least know, here's kind of what my opportunity is. But if you already own 25, 30, 40, you could be more aggressive and capture more of that market share. And I think you arguably have more of an opportunity when you are already in a good position. I'd like to do something a little different. Let's look at Amazon for deal days right now. Let's look at Amazon, and I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look through some deals. I hope that's okay. I think that's okay. I'm inviting you into my world. So look at all these deals. This is incredible. We're seeing all this stuff that has these nice, pretty red badges. Like I said, Black Friday deal, it's going to switch over to Cyber Monday, so it's going to basically be the same. Hopefully there's nothing embarrassing in my search history. There really should not be. But let's say I am looking for, I'm going to walk you through something. Maybe I am looking for a massage gun. What sticks out to me? There's a lot of these, product kits, etc. But I honestly feel like, Theragun is a great brand name. They're doing, media across the board. So they're not just doing their, their thing on Amazon. They've got a D2C website. I don't know if they're sold in retail or not. But when I look at this looks incredibly busy. Even sharper image. This looks a little bit more clean to me and it stands out. So that's another thing you can do is you can use something like PickFu to test hey, which product image would you click on? You can show people these different images, run a test, say, is my product differentiated enough? Get feedback from people, then go and run it, put it on Amazon, and then run a test. We do that all the time for clients. Hey, right now, this image looks good. Do we think this is the best images? The best main image. We're not sure. Let's run a test. Sometimes the test could be somewhat inconclusive. It's not going to give you a lot of data, or just the percent that something is better is just not as high because maybe it was close. But so I think you can make a call on that as well too. But run a test and see what works. But right now, when I see this looks incredibly clean. That's where my eye is drawn. But if I'm also drawn towards a deal and I see that these are cheaper and it's got a bestseller badge, it's going to be hard to compete with something that is super, super cheap. I might click on this, look at this and say, I may never scroll down. I'm going to look at this picture right here. I think there's a lot of stuff going on here. So, are we really focusing on what people need to see? I think big brands have a tendency to do less in this department. And I think smaller brands have a tendency to do a lot more than they need to. And like I'm seeing, high torque, super quiet motor, low battery life, but then I'm on here and I'm like, whoa, all this stuff. Do I really need to see that? I don't know. Maybe I am looking for all those heads, but maybe you can do it in a way that doesn't feel as overwhelming. And this also just feels a little busy, but it is kind of maximizing the space, but it's a good deal. So maybe someone's willing to buy this. I don't like that seller name. And looks like a lot of similar items here. But these deals are just lit up. And this is another example of being able to improve sales velocity. I can guarantee these people are going to see a lot more velocity. I also feel like Black Friday deal, better than save 20%. People are not maybe necessarily having to calculate. This seems a lot more attractive to me than anything else. Seeing a Black Friday deal versus seeing us, save 20%. But Ekron, whatever that brand is, they might be missing out. They don't have as many reviews as some of these other brands, which just tells me that their time on market maybe has not been significant. Their sales velocity is not as significant, and they've got a week delivery. So they're not fulfilling themselves. This is a missed opportunity. So if you run Ekron Athletics, I'm not scared by your price point. You've got a great rating, good rating, and the product seems to work. It's a 6-piece set, but you're not running a promotion and you're not Prime eligible. It's going to be really hard to compete with that. When you do go to a product detail page, you want it to have a good look and feel to it. You don't have much control over the things outside of, media assets, title, etc. But here, I look at Theragun. Okay, very clear. This woman's using it. It's comfortable, everyday massage for everybody. Great, that's me. I'm everybody. comfortably reach anywhere on your body. Sorry, I'm so used to reading some of these Chinese things that I'm starting to sound like I don't know English. Showing it in use, maximizing space. Something we do with clients all the time at Cartology is maximize your space with lifestyle images with some text showing people why they should be purchasing something. So a little bit of I wouldn't necessarily say scientific approach, but give someone the USP of why they should use it. Hey, I know exactly what I'm looking at on this page. That other page that I looked at for Yoloco had, I don't know how many features, how many offers. So you can target different areas. Got that standard ball, that thumb, that dampener. I would also just include this here. I think this is kind of a wasted image, but then they've got a video as well. So I think that they are doing a great job, and I would hope that they do very well. And I'm typing something out right now. We are a Smart Scout affiliate, so I'm putting a link in the chat. Please sign up and use our link. I'm going to put it in the LinkedIn chat as well. And I'm going to tell you that it is a very powerful tool. I've seen it work very well for us in many different ways. And I'm going to post this again because I think it didn't properly load. But look, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is going on. You got a good idea of what to expect, I think. Lots of deals. Just know that Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals are going to be consistent across the board. They are not going to change, or they really should not. But it's a good opportunity for you to maybe even save a little bit of money. So sign up for Smart Scout, use that affiliate link, and give you an opportunity to test a cool software that's out there. A lot more capabilities, and the way that they're looking at it, I think, is interesting. Being able to look at market, things like that, that to me feels unique. This has been another episode of Amazon AMA solo. So I think this is my second solo one, but I do miss Brett. I think Brett is a welcome addition. So he's not kicked out. Just wasn't feeling too well today. So get your deals. Be looking at Search Query Performance Report. Be looking at top search terms. Be looking at things at an ASIN level, at a brand level. Start to measure. Track a couple terms because it can be overwhelming, but track a couple terms and say, okay, I'm going to track these and see how well we perform over time, and then start to utilize that data. But that's it. I don't really have anything else for you guys. I don't have anything exciting as a way to say goodbye. So let's just part ways, and we'll meet back soon. Happy Thanksgiving. Woo!